Welcome back. We are here in episode 6. In the last episode, we spoke about persons who have difficulties, especially those who are leaders that have same-sex attraction. Today we hear about Jim, how we have to reach out with a good heart. We were on the topic about someone who is from the same-sex community, and they're talking a little bit more about should they actually serve in the community. We left off at, you were saying, heterosexuals and our judgments with the heterosexuals being on a certain topic on a certain way, and how are we taking it when someone's from the gay community and serving in the community. So what is the response to that?
Yeah. And I was saying that how do you know that a person is an active homosexual? How do you know that? Are you there? Are you? How do you know these kind of things? So we always got to be careful of rumors. Mm-hmm. We always have to be careful of gossip. And if a person said, as my spiritual director, I just got to tell you, I struggle in this area. Well, that's a sacred trust. God forbid that we should ever, what somebody says to us in confidence, we start blathering around. And again, just because somebody, you can't judge something by the tone of a person's voice or how they look, or we got to be careful of what this is. As I said, I know men who are perhaps a bit effeminate and are absolutely heterosexuals, and I know some guys who are quite tough and real manly, and they actually do have same-sex attraction. Sure. So what are we judging here? What do we actually know for sure? Having said that, I would have two concerns. The first concern is if a person is actively homosexual, or even if a person is advocating, we need same-sex marriage and enough oppression and all that kind of stuff, and they're constantly advocating that is contrary to the teaching of the Roman Catholic Church.
Sure.
And I would say the same thing about a person advocating abortion.
Right.
If a person, even if they're not in the action, but is advocating that, we got a problem. And I would have to say, I think they need to be removed from ministry.
Sure.
Now, I don't think just because a person, by my standard, is a bit effeminate, I don't think that's good enough reason to remove them from ministry. But I said there were two possibilities. That was one. The second one is, if a person kind of alludes to the fact that they're kind of moving in that direction, there is this whole issue of scandal, of how the community views things.
Right.
So you have to be very, very prudent. And one of the things that often weakens a leader's resolve is they're saying, well, Jesus loves everybody, Jesus welcomes everybody, but you have responsibility for the whole community.
Right.
So I guess if I could just sum this up, I would say if a person is either actively living a homosexual lifestyle, or if a person is openly portraying a homosexual agenda, then I think they should be removed from ministry.
Right.
There it is. That's what I honestly believe.
Sure.
But I think we have to be really careful before we decide who is and who isn't.
Right.
And then the other point I'd just like to say again is that this doesn't only apply to people sexual attraction to the same sex. If a person who is attracted to the opposite sex is fooling around, they shouldn't be in ministry either.
Right.
We're called to holiness. Mm-hmm. And one more point, if you'll allow me. There's a huge distinction between a person who has a tendency, heterosexual, homosexual, whatever it is, has a tendency and is really trying to live a chaste life. And even if, God have mercy, even if they should slip, there's something happens here, something happens there. Once in a while, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But there's an effort to live a chaste life. Let's put it another direction. Let's say that I was trying to break free of an alcohol addiction. And man, I'm trying. I'm going to my program. I'm meeting my counselor. I'm trying. One night, I slip.
Yep.
Don't throw me out of the prayer meeting.
Right.
But I need to get back on track and keep moving again. But if I stand up every night at the prayer meeting and I'm drunk, we got a problem.
Right.
So we're calling everybody to holiness, homosexual and heterosexual and everybody else. And all of us have to go forward and help each other. Not in judgment, but pastorally caring for the individual, but also pastorally caring for the good of the group. And if you do not deal with this, you're doing a disservice to the individual and to the group.
Sure.
But you deal with it in a pastorally correct way. You don't tell 20 other people about it before you talk to the person.
Definitely. We hope you enjoy episode 6, and what Jim said was the heart of the issue. Reach for the heart and we'll know what to do. In episode 7, we're talking about discernment. Discernment that can encompass everything from visionary leadership all the way to what we've been talking about. So watch out for us in episode 7, the concluding episode on discernment.